I really enjoyed your last album, A Different Hat. Did you enjoy recording with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra?
Yes, I did. It was a fantastic experience. Never done it before, and you know, the level of proficiency is something to behold.
You've been in the music business for many years. Who are your favourite artists?
Oh, I've had many influences over the years. I mean, I started out as a kid listening to the guitar bands like the Shadows, and then, of course, the Mersey beat boom with the Beatles, Searchers, Jerry and the Pacemakers, etc. In my youth, you know, in my teens, it was more about soul music and Motown, particularly, and all the great vocal groups from that era. People like the Temptations, the Four Tops, the Impressions, and all the great soul singers.
There's so many great soul singers from the past. Do you have any favourites?
I don't know if I have a particular favourite. I mean, I enjoy so many of them. I mean, people like Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, David Ruffin, people like that spring to mind, but there are just so many.
On the 28th of February, you're performing in Tunbridge Wells at the Assembly Hall. Are you looking forward to the gig?
Absolutely. I look forward to every gig. We've had many good nights in Tunbridge Wells. Looking forward to that. I mean, we're playing theatres up and down the country since the end of October and right through to March. And we give 100% every show and hope that we're going to send people home happy.
What will you be performing for your many fans?
We get a lot of people who are coming who've been previous shows, you know, and they have a good idea what to expect, I think. But for people who haven't been before, yes, we include some of the big songs that I've been associated with, or, you know, been sung live. For instance, my first hit was How Long with a band called Ace. That's the first song I sang that I've written. And we include some of the hit songs that I sang with Mike and the Mechanics, like The Living Years, Over My Shoulder, Another Cup of Coffee. And so there's a number of songs in there that people are familiar with, but we are not a greatest hits show or nostalgia show because we can constantly releasing new material. And we will be including 4 or 5 songs from a new album that will be out in the summer. And we even include a couple of 3 songs from the album you mentioned before, with the orchestral album. But we don't have an orchestra with us, but we do a sort of reasonable versions of those songs.
So how do you and the band get to the gigs?
Through a bus, but my band is based in Sheffield, which is my hometown, and I got together with these guys about 10 years ago. So I'm living in the south, so I travel by car, and the band go on the bus.
You must have performed at some amazing gigs around the world. What would you consider to be your favourite venue?
It doesn't matter, really. It can be anywhere. I mean, I've toured all over the States, all over the UK and Europe, and some of the big cities can be great fun. I mean, Liverpool and Glasgow are, you know, very vibrant places, very music-orientated and demanding public, but, you know, when they're behind you, it's a tremendous feeling. But, you know, we don't just play major towns, we play small towns as well, and that can be just as much fun.
You still get the buzz wherever you perform, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, that's why I do it. I mean, if I didn't get the buzz, if I didn't enjoy it, and if I didn't enjoy being on the road with my friends, I wouldn't be doing it. Simple as that.
You've been in many bands in your career, such as Squeeze, Roxy Music, Ace, as you mentioned earlier, and Mike and the Mechanics. What music do you like to listen to?
Well, I don't listen to an awful lot of music, to be honest with you. Because I enjoy making the music, I enjoy making the albums, doing the shows, But in between times, I don't listen to a lot of stuff. If you press me, I would say obviously people like Adele and James Morrison, from the younger artists who are really coming through, and I think that I've got a lot of admiration for them. A few obscure groups like the Fleet Foxes, but I listen. If I listen, maybe some jazz or something mellow that I would listen to. Yeah.
Are you recording a new album at the moment?
Well, I've kind of got about half an album so far, mostly that I recorded before we started touring heavily. Once we do hit the road, and January and February are particularly busy, so it does get quite difficult to record in between. But when the tour finishes at the beginning of March, I'll be cracking on with a new album, because we hope to have it out in June or July.
Is it like a different hat or different again?
Very different to the last album. I mean, the last album I did, A Different Hat, was very different to anything I'd done before. That's the one we recorded with the orchestra. It's a very mellow album, a lot of classic songs on there, and some of my own songs reworked. The new album that I'm working on at the moment is much more like my normal style and with my normal band, and a lot of it it feels very fresh coming back from the orchestral album. It's more upbeat and kind of soul pop, that sort of thing.
Being a prolific songwriter, where does your inspiration come from?
Well, there's many ways to skin a cat, to be honest with you, and some songs come very easily. You maybe just strum the guitar, come up with a few chords, a little melody pops into your head, or an idea. It can be any number of things, really. So there is no set formula for it. Sometimes you collaborate with people. That tends to make life easier sometimes, because to bounce off each other's ideas and stuff and share the load. But often I think that the best songs I've written are when they've been more personal and when I've done it myself. So, but it can be anything. It could be an idea for a little riff you get, or usually in my case it's a melody that comes, and then I try and fit some words around it.
Out of all the great songs you have composed, which is your favourite?
How Long. That was the first one I wrote, and it's a very simple little song, but must have had something, because it's still around today. It still gets played, and so I'm quite pleased with that. But more recently, I wrote a song that was recorded by the Eagles on their last album, a song called I Don't Want to Hear Anymore, and I think that's, as a pop song, I think it's one of my best.
Thanks a lot for coming on the show, Paul. I'm coming to see you at the Tunbridge Wells gig, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, excellent. Good. Well, I hope it's a good one.
Thanks for being on the show.
It's a pleasure.